Welcome to the Magic on the Inside podcast by the Sisters Enchanted, where we chat magic, hot topics, personal development, and good old-fashioned life. Brew up something delicious and sit with us for a spell.
Welcome to this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Anna.
And Anna's turning her volume off on her computer. I'm the founder of the Sisters Enchanted. Anna is my real-life sister and co-founder. And we have been conjuring up all kinds of magic here since 2016. And this month is a special month for us here at the Sisters Enchanted.
It's our birthday!
It's our 5th birthday!
Woo! So big.
That means we made it 5 years. That's like, you know how many years 5 years is in internet business time? It's like dog years.
I was going to say 12.
Yeah, it's so many.
I don't know the mathematical process that goes into dog years.
I don't either, but I don't know anything really, actually. But what I do know is that
I thought somebody was just getting into my car, but that's not my car.
It's really exciting that we've been doing this for 5 years. And to celebrate our 5 years, we always, we only have 5 years. We don't always do anything. But for our birthday for the last few years, we have celebrated by teaching a special round of a tarot class.
Yes.
And so this year, we are celebrating with weekly live discussions for our tarot throwdown students, as well as a live one-day virtual event for our tarot students, and introducing our brand new tarot coach program, which is officially open for registration.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I was also just admiring your necklace again.
I know, isn't it nice?
Yes.
I bought it for myself for Mother's Day, gave it to my husband so that he could give it to the kids to wrap and give to me.
I had to say it because I realized I was staring at it and we're on camera, and then I realized I needed to explain what I was staring at.
You're a weird sister, just staring.
No, I was staring at the necklace. It's very pretty.
So, anyway.
Tarot Coach program.
Yeah, it's brand new. And what we're doing is, for our Holistic Witchery students and those in our Tarot Coach program, we're actually hosting a virtual Witches Ball also.
Which we've also done in the past.
It was one of my most favorite moments ever.
I, too, remember it fondly. I know I needed some days of recovery.
You had just had a baby.
I had just had a C-section and then came in here and busted a move.
I know. I was like, Anna, one must dance, regardless of one's circumstances.
One must dance. It doesn't matter if you've just had a C-section or...
Listen, I had two also. And
had a sandwich?
So it's
one must dance.
It's not like I didn't know your circumstance. And I still was like, you're fine.
One must dance.
One must dance.
We don't make excuses. We dance.
When one is called to dance, one must
dance.
Yeah. Okay. So, rule number 1, always dance. Rule number 2, rest after you dance.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, along with all the cool tarot stuff we've got going on this week, we have a series of 4 podcast episodes busting out one after another for you this week, where we're talking about the minor arcana in tarot.
The suitsies.
The suitsies. Now, we have a plethora of episodes where we walked through all of the cards of the tarot deck. You can go back and listen to those. I think they start at about episode 13. And really hear about the story, how they build together, the relationships. What we're talking about today is specifically just the suits and different ways of looking at them. So, the first one we're going to talk about is, I'll give you a guess. You want to guess what's one? I mean, you should know, but alas, I don't think I told you before I hit record. So.
I think that it's always best practice that when we do a podcast that I don't know what we're talking about. It just really seems more authentic that way.
It's true. Okay. Ready?
I mean, it is authentic.
Here is the guessing game. Ready?
Yes.
Bleeding out everywhere.
Okay, well, it's a good thing that we're in person and that you can, if called to, watch this on video, because otherwise...
Well, I said the words bleeding out everywhere. And
You
I
did
made the
say.
noise. I made the...
It's the cups, Obvi.
The cups?
I'm joking. I'm joking. It's the swords.
The swords.
These
a bleeding heart with 3 swords sticking out of it. Said no one ever. When I think of how I want to look in the future, it's lying face down on the ground with 10 swords on my back.
So when you intentionally choose cards for your day, you choose the swords?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Okay, maybe though, because we're going to talk why maybe you want to do that.
Right.
Now that we got that out of the way. It's the swords.
That felt very cathartic.
I know. I liked the part where we awed together. That was my favorite moment.
It was good.
So, now, let's get to business. The business of this podcast. So the suit of swords, it's aligned with the element of air.
Yes.
It's masculine, or, like we say, maybe more logical, maybe more solar. Because remember, masculine, feminine stuff is fluid. That's fluid. It's not one stagnant thing. But it's very solar. It is more like... exactly what I said. Logical. It's more logical. It is thoughts. It's communication.
Right.
And what I want to highlight today, the suit of swords.
It's not receptive in its vessel.
Okay.
Like cups and pentacles are like a container.
Container of goodness.
Yes. And swords and wands don't leave much room for containing. They're meant to be like this.
Yes.
Good thing for video again.
Yeah, no, they're well, that's swords and wands are that phallic symbolism, right? Like there's that solar part to it.
We just keep doing this.
Yes, I know. I wish you could, well, you can see if you watch this on YouTube. If you're listening, we're just making gestures with our hands, pushing them forward as if that makes any kind of sense. Okay, and what I want to say about the suit of swords also, though, is perception. So it's communication, it's logic, it's thought, and your perception.
Yes.
Which is why one might actually want to intentionally work with cards like the 10 of swords, like the 3 of swords, because you could pull that and ask yourself, what is my perception of what's happening to me right now? If I feel like I am being, so 3 of swords, we've got our stab through the heart. We've got our 5 of swords, like the aftermath of conflict and like someone really winning and somebody really losing. We've got the 9 of swords, the nightmare. We've got 10 of swords, that stabbing in the back, like, you know, dun 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 card. And really it's what is your perception of what's happening?
Right.
How is your self-communication? What are your thoughts that are leading to the circumstances that you're in?
Right. Because that's something really important to remember with the swords, is that they are air, and air are thoughts. It's also communication, but I think that when people are pulling tarot cards and they get swords cards, they often feel confronted and then defensive because they're like, what is somebody doing to me? What is somebody saying to me? And they forget that the swords are also our thought and our internal dialogue, and that oftentimes a lot of the swords things are as a result of us perseverating on something.
Yes. Perseverating. Going down thought spirals.
Yes.
So one of the talking about the suits, right, and what the different suits, what they bring to the table, as we've been talking about for a few months now, in our tarot program and in one of our free classes, a lot about intentional tarot. So really using the tarot as a guidance tool, a personal growth and development tool, rather than more of like a
reliant tool.
Yeah, like validation, what should I do tomorrow, what decisions should I make kind of tool. We're looking at it as a self-coaching, a self-improvement, and how to use that with others as well. So when you're looking at the suit of swords, really understanding that story that's being told there, when you get the 5 of swords and it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe you'll win or maybe you'll lose the conflict, there's going to be a conflict or an argument, something like that. It's always, what is your perception of the situation? Because, you know, we could be in an argument about something, and if I'm sitting here thinking and perceiving that I'm being attacked, everything you say, no matter what no matter how you're communicating it to me and what you think, my perception is I'm being attacked. So in the swords, now suddenly I'm being stabbed in the back. I'm the one who's lost the war or whatever. You're trying to take things from me. And it's really our understanding of communication, how we are using logic to see what is true and what's not true, and also our perception of a situation, what we're perseverating on, what we're going into a thought spiral on.
Right.
And that's what the Suit of Swords is about and how we can work with it.
Right. A lot of times, especially in the Suit of Swords, and you're talking about the Five of Swords as an example, but that when you are shown that imagery, especially if you have the traditional imagery of, you know, like the man kind of in the forefront with his swords and then like the kind of defeated couple of people in the back.
Yeah.
That especially when it's swords, because they can be so confronting, I like to look at both the person in the forefront and the back and really evaluate, like, who am I here? You know, like, so if it is something that's happened, like, am I the person that said something? Am I the person that acted in a way that left other people behind, even though I'm feeling behind? Like, was it my actions that did this? Or am I feeling left out and, like, something else is happening? So in the swords, too, because it is your thought, it's really good to have that rational idea. And that's a really good reason that you would maybe want to pull something intentionally anyway. Like, if you were having a disagreement with somebody and you pulled, like, that Five of Swords and be like, okay, what part of this am I on? And, like, really intentionally looking at it. Like, really rationally looking at it.
Yeah.
It's like proactive shadow work.
Exactly. Woo! Woo! So the Suit of Swords, thought, logic, communication, perception.
Yes.
How you're perceiving your circumstance, how you're perceiving the things people are saying to you, how you are communicating in a way, like your style of communication, how that's perceived by others, and how we are really creating the thoughts that we have. So if we think everything's against us, how are we creating those thoughts? If we think like, oh, I'm so afraid of something, I'm really bad at something, those are thoughts we're having, and those thoughts, they're the thoughts that turn into, like, the Nine of Swords. They're the thoughts that, you know, like the Seven of Swords, and like the, you know, like just even in the Five, like the someone's taking, right, or the sneaking, or like whatever those thoughts are, that we are doing that to ourselves, often from our thoughts. So
Yes. Tricky thoughts.
perception.
Pesky thoughts.
How do you perceive your thoughts? That doesn't work. That's not how that works. That's not, how do you perceive your thoughts? How are you perceiving your thoughts?
I thought that you were asking me.
I've lost
And
all
that's the way the song goes. Like, when you're perceiving your thoughts, is that the way you sing it to yourself? I thought you were asking, like, a real question.
I've lost all sense of everything. I'm perceiving that I lost my train of thought.
You're perceiving that it's a sunny day, we should be outside playing, but it's not a sunny day, it's a rainy day, and we're supposed to be podcasting responsibly.
Never podcast responsibly. Never.
T-shirt. Patent pending.
Never
podcast responsibly.
I was reading about, okay.
Yeah, it should say Magic on the Inside podcast. And then on the back, never podcast responsibly.
Oh my gosh, make it!
Make it!
I was reading a thing about people who have
I'm
Saturn.
going to put it down.
Okay, people who have Saturn in Sagittarius, and how
So many of us.
we're we are here to bring the fun. We are the fun time crew.
We
So
are
I
the
don't
fun
understand
time
why
crew.
anybody tries to structure me, because I was literally born to be the fun time crew. So I just don't know why people are trying to put me in boxes over here. All right, that is it. So, perception, swords, think about that. And if you want to learn more about working with tarot in new and exciting ways, unique ways, check out our program. Go to tarotthrowdown.com. You'll find out all the information there. Let us know how we can help you. And just follow along on Instagram, YouTube, all the places. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, it sounds like a small thing to do, but it helps us out in such a big way, just like a thumbs up on YouTube does. Those little things really help us out. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
The team knows.
The team knows. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. Until next time, I hope that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.